Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the TCT podcast here on YouTube. My name is Gavin Campbell. Alongside me, as always, my two good friends, Tyson Snyder and Cale Fleming. Today on the rundown, we have Central Illinois High School football Week 4 picks and predictions, as well as the University of Illinois football game against USF, I believe.
Yep, South Florida.
Yeah, in Chicago at Soldier Field. It's Illinois' third game of the season. We all think that this is the make-or-break point for the Illini this year, and we'll get into that later. And then we're going to finish it up with some University of Illinois men's basketball. Other than that, Tyson, go ahead and take it away.
All right, our first game of the week is going to be Centennial against Danville. As you all know, both teams are 1-2, a little bit disappointing on the year for both of them. Centennial's got one win over Richwoods. That first win came last week. Danville got their first and only win 2 weeks ago against Urbana. This one is kind of a hard game for me to pick. I want to go with the hometown here and go with Centennial. But Richwoods wasn't a very good team that they beat, and I've predicted every Centennial game wrong. So really, I don't really think I can win with this one, so I'm going with Danville.
I'm taking Danville as well, just for the fact that I feel like they're the better team.
Danville beat Urbana by 1 point. Urbana does not have a very good program right now. There's no reason why Centennial shouldn't win this game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers.
That was my thought process during it too. Their one win was by 1 point against Urbana. So I was leaning towards the Chargers, but I just can't pick them right. So I'm going with Danville, who has not let me down at least for 1 week.
Fair enough.
Next game, we've got Central against Urbana. Speaking of the Devils, Urbana 0-3, Central 1-2. Their one win coming against Centennial. I'm going to get your guys' thoughts on this one first. What do you think here, Cale?
I've picked Urbana the last 3 weeks. I'm riding high with Urbana, especially in the Crosstown Showdown here.
Well, we just had Julius on the show on Sunday, and I think he's changed my mind because I think initially I was going to go with the Maroons. They had a really good win over their crosstown rival in Champaign Centennial, and if they want to bring home that Wright Street Trophy, they got to go through Urbana. And I don't think they're going to take it home this year. I'm going to take the Tigers in this one.
He had the swag, the confidence.
He did.
He knew that they were going to go in there and win that game. So
Absolutely.
I like that.
See, I want to ride with Julius here. He was very convincing. Definitely showed me what Urbana's got kind of rolling over there. But I think Central's going to kind of ride the high off beating Centennial already. Hey, we already beat someone in town. I think we can beat them both. So I'm going to take Central in this one. I haven't picked Central to win yet, but I'll take them for this one.
Go Tigers.
Next game up, we got Mahomet against Taylorville. Mahomet 1-2 on the season. Tough week 1 loss against Washington, which we've already talked about. Tough loss last week again. The Muscuda losing by 1, 21-20. Mahomet's one win on the season's against Charleston. Taylorville, on the other hand, is 3-0. They beat Mount Vernon, Effingham, and Charleston.
Which a couple of those very competent programs.
Mount Vernon,
very competent programs.
Effingham, on the other hand, maybe not. We used to beat up on them at PBL every year, and we're a lot smaller than Effingham is. So, but the other 2 wins, Charleston and Mount Vernon, not very bad wins. Those are pretty good wins against good programs. This one was kind of a hard game for me to pick. I wanted to pick Mahomet very badly.
Because they could very well be 3-0
this
season. It's been very close the past 3 weeks, like you said. But, I mean, just the fact that a team is 3-0 shows that they can get it done.
Yep.
So I think that's why I lean towards Taylorville.
I went with Taylorville, too. Now, the score they've each played Charleston and won. Mahomet beat Charleston 44-18. Taylorville beat Charleston 36-13. So Mahomet had a little bit better point differential against them. They scored a couple more points, but they gave up a couple more. So it's a very close matchup. I think this will come down to a very close game, even though it's 1-2 versus 3-0. But I'm going with Taylorville.
I'm taking Taylorville too, just for the fact that they're tough. They always have been. So I'm going with Taylorville.
All right, so we're all in consensus on that one. Our next game is Monticello versus Rantoul. Enough said. Go say
murder. A murder. You can just go ahead and write Monticello down for all 3 of us. No need to even.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Eagle fans.
Yeah, I'm not even sorry. This one's a given. Okay, our next game up, PBL versus Seneca. Seneca is new to the division this year. Both teams are 2-1. PBL's 2 wins coming over Iroquois West, Georgetown Ridge Farm. Losing to defending state champions, GCMS. Seneca's 2 wins are over Westmont and Dwight. They lost to Marquette. Westmont and Dwight I wouldn't consider very good wins. Marquette, that's a good loss. Marquette's got a decent team. PBL's wins I wouldn't really consider very good wins either.
No.
Their loss is another good loss. State champion GCMS. But I'm going to ride my boys here from PBL, coming in on a 2-game win streak. I'm going to take PBL for this one to go up 3-1.
If Seneca can beat Dwight, we can definitely beat Dwight. PBL or home.
I think it was 22 to 16 or something like that Seneca Dwight game.
Yeah, but like you said, I'm torn because we've only beat Georgetown Ridge Farm and
Iroquois West, who's not
they just haven't had a very good program. I'm gonna go with you too. I'm gonna go with PBL just because it's our alma mater. But at the same time, I'm very uncertain how this could turn out.
This is Seneca's first year in our division as well. And they've played Dwight so far, who's consistently been towards the bottom of the division every year. I think they're going to get a welcome to what football up there is actually like. Yeah. And I think PBL is going to come out and kind of smack them in the mouth, say, hey, welcome.
See, they could, but at the same time, like you said, these teams are very evenly matched. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just going to come down to, I mean, they're at home. You know, PBL, as far to my knowledge, has not played there before.
Nope.
So it's uncharted waters. You know, so I think I'm gonna have to go with Seneca on this one. Although I honestly have never heard of this place before, being from Champaign-Urbana. So
these schools that we play, you probably haven't heard of half of them.
Hey, I'm trying my best here, but I'm gonna take Seneca in this one.
All right, so we're a little split on that one. That's all right. That means I get an automatic game up on Gav this week when I need it. Okay, our next game is going to be St. Joe Unity, one of the biggest rivalries around this area. Always a super fun game to watch. I think the 50-50 every year goes for about $15,000. But St. Joe's 3-0, Unity's 0-3.
That's saying something going for a high school football game. $15,000 for a 50-50?
Yeah. Well, and for being it in Central
Playoff
Illinois,
game is like $25,000-$30,000, I think.
Yeah.
For 50-50, that's half of it.
For a high school football game.
Yep.
Holy cow, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're okay.
Wow.
It's a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it's like you said, it's one of the biggest rivalries. It's also one of the oldest rivalries.
$15,000.
Hey, Unity and St. Joe love their football.
I understand that, but good Lord, dude, I can't get over that.
Mm-hmm.
$15K.
Yes.
50-50.
Half. Yes.
50-50.
Yeah, that's half.
Yes.
All right, continue. Sorry. Wow.
Now, we're gonna let Cale try to take that in, but this. You say that it should be a pretty good game this year. I think it's going to be one of the more, you go into it knowing the outcome kind of games. St. Joe has to go to Unity. Not an easy place to play, especially if you play for St. Joe. They're going to be heckling you the entire time, but there's no reason that St. Joe should not come out with this win. The Rockets just have not started off on a good foot this year, and St. Joe's done everything right. Although their competition has been lackluster, their offense, it looks good. Their defense looks good. I'm taking St. Joe.
See, I was a little split on this one, even though it's 3-0 versus 0-3. St. Joe's had 3 wins that aren't very good wins so far this year.
STM, Rantoul,
and BCC, who's 0-3. And Unity's had 3 really tough losses against IVC, Pontiac, and PC. The latter 2 are 3-0. IVC's 1-2, who's lost to Monticello and Pontiac. 2 3-0 teams. So I think Unity's had some really good losses, and I think they've played well in all those games. They've come close. But I'm going to go with St. Joe in this one as well. I think St. Joe's just looked too good so far this year to pass on them.
This is probably, no offense to Unity and Unity fans, this is probably the worst Unity team that I've seen since we've been in high school or maybe younger. 0-3 is not Unity football to me, so I have a hard time going against St. Joe anyway because, as we know, they're always state champion contenders, so I'm going St. Joe.
All right. consensus pick on that one. We got STM against IVC, our next game up, which I just briefly touched on IVC. Their 1 win against Unity, 2 tough losses, Monticello and Pontiac. STM also 1-2 on the year. Their 1 win coming against Olympia Delathon, who just lost to Rantoul.
Yes.
If
that gives you some context, they're just not very good.
Their 2 losses are against Monticello and St. Joe. 2 very good teams, but it wasn't very close. I'm going with IVC in this one. I just don't think St. Thomas More's got it this year.
No, me neither.
I'm going STM.
Really?
I'm going STM.
Does it change your mind if I tell you they're in STM? They're here in Champaign?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, it's just
I don't know. I got to go with IVC. STM hasn't been very good for the past couple years. Like you said, IVC 2 really reasonable losses this year to really good teams. They're at home. I'm going to take IVC.
We play STM in high school. We played them.
Yeah.
We know what they're capable of.
Yeah, we smoked them every year.
We know what they're capable of. So, hey, here's the thing: is I'm kind of known for taking these picks that just don't work out.
That's true.
And I'm still winning, by the way.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you take the picks that aren't supposed to work out, and then you do get the win. So
it's just because my football knowledge is through the roof.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. Cale's looking for employment. Somebody go ahead and sign him to a contract, please.
All right, I'm skipping our next game. We'll come back to it. The next one we're going to talk about is Arcola against ALAH, Arthur Lovington, Atwood Hammond. 1-2 on the season. Their 1 win coming against Martinsville. They lost to Villa Grove and then Kansas, Shiloh, whatever the other school down there in Oakland.
Oakland, yeah.
We're talking about the Corn Jerkers? No, different team.
This is Arthur Lovington, Atwood Hammond.
This is the team, yeah.
No, that they beat. That's what I'm talking.
Oh,
they did beat the Corn Jerkers. Because I can't remember their acronym. It was like 6 schools or something.
HASAAC.
Yeah, something like that.
Hubston area, Schlarman.
Is that who we're talking about?
I don't think so.
I don't think
it's different.
They played Villa Grove in week 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they haven't played Hubston.
We did predict the game Villa Grove and Alla.
Okay, my bad.
But they're going against Arcola this year, whose 1 loss has come to Tuscola. Put up 28 points on Tuscola. They haven't really beat anybody very good, but I'm going with Arcola in this one. Arcola's generally very good every year. They're usually 1 or 2 wins or losses coming against Tuscola and whoever else is really good in that division. But I'm going with Arcola just because Arthur Lovington hasn't been very good so far this year.
They put up 28 points on Tuscola, who was in the state championship a year ago. So that should tell you something right there. That defense is no joke. And when you can get 4 touchdowns, that speaks volume to your team. So, yeah, I'm going to take Arcola as well.
Go Arcola.
Sweep.
All right. And then our second to last game is going to be GCMS, the Falcons, defending state champions in 2A against Fieldcrest, who Fieldcrest generally puts together a pretty decent team. Fieldcrest, though, this year 1-2 on the season, 1 win coming against Reed Custer. Lost to Tri-Valley and Tremont. I think that's kind of enough said on this one. GCMS, defending state champions 2A. Fieldcrest, they beat up every year. I think last year they won 55-0.
Jeez.
So this year I'm going GCMS again. I don't think much will change.
Same team as GCMS had last year, minus a few exceptions. They lost the Allen brothers, I believe.
Yeah.
And they don't have Mitch McNutt, their all-star running back. So, I mean, it's the same team other than those 3 guys.
So
it's hard not to pick GCMS.
Yeah, no, obviously I'm going to take the Falcons in this one, but I wanted to know from Tyson, was that a prediction, 55-0 in this game?
Sure is. That was either their score from last year or the year before. I think it'll be something very similar, so yeah, I guess I'll throw that out there, 55. I'll give them 55-6.
6, okay. One meaningless score in garbage time. That's fair enough.
All right, and the last game that I said we were going to skip and we'd come back to, this one's got me torn a little bit. I've been torn the last 2 weeks with Tuscola, this week going up against St. Teresa. Both teams 3-0 on the season. Tuscola's wins coming over Arcola, Central A&M, and Villa Grove. Villa Grove win doesn't mean very much to me. That Central and A&M game, like I said, up to halftime, very close against a very good A&M team. In the Arcola game, I think that one was kind of a toss-up. It could have either been really good or really bad. I haven't decided what it is. We'll have to see how Arcola ends this year. But St. Teresa's got 3 wins over Meridian, Tri-Valley, and River Valley.
River Valley's all right. They're decent.
I will tell you the 3 teams they've beaten have a combined record of 1-8.
River Valley's put together some good football teams. Is what I'm okay. So they're 1-8. Who's got that win? Is it River Valley?
It's Tri-Valley. Tri-Valley.
Oh, wow.
Tri-Valley
got
beat
the win?
Fieldcrest is the only win.
Oh, well, that's
okay.
The only win of the 3 teams that St. Teresa's beat over Fieldcrest. They beat Meridian 53-0. They beat Tri-Valley 27-14, and they beat River Valley 68-6.
Oh my God!
Good Lord.
So in the games they've won, besides Tri-Valley, which is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, because Tri-Valley traditionally not very good, and Tri-Valley's only win, like we said, on Fieldcrest, and it wasn't a very big win. It was like 22-16 or something like that.
Could be a nick in the armor for
Right,
St.
I think
Teresa.
we see some weakness for St. Teresa. But then again, Tuscola, I don't consider all their wins very good wins either. A&M, that's a great win. But the other 2 I'm skeptical on.
Before you make your pick, I want to say something real quick. I'm going Tuscola just for the sheer fact that they were sluggish in the first half against A&M, and then they busted out in the second.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you right there that they're capable of doing amazing things like they always are. But St. Teresa, with what you just said, beating these subpar teams, I'm gonna say it, subpar teams, with a combined score of 1 or a combined win rating of 1-8. They're playing Tuscola. This is gonna be the best team they've seen this year.
It's going to be the best team they see all year.
All year. So therefore, I don't know if this is gonna sway you at all. I'm taking Tuscola just for the sheer fact that they've played better talent in Arcola and Central A&M than St. Teresa has.
Tri-Valley was also their first game of the season, which might be why they struggled a little bit. And then the next 2 weeks, they came out and put up 53 and 68 and let up 6 points in those next 2 games. So this is why I wanted to talk about this one a little bit
gonna score more than 6 points.
to get your guys' opinions, because I think St. Teresa's got a very good team like usual. I just don't think they've been able to prove it. But then again, they've had a crap ton of points that they put up. It looks like their offense is basically unstoppable.
Well, going up against the defense that hadn't let up points up until the 3rd game of the season, this is going to be a great matchup. I mean, I expect the Warriors to come out and at least slow this offense down. I don't expect them to score 30 points. But if Tuscola doesn't get things moving like they did, if they play like they did in the first half against
they don't stand a chance.
No way. But if that coach got it in their heads that, hey, this team is not to be reckoned with. I mean, they put up 68 points. I don't care who it's against. That's no easy feat. No. This is high school football. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be closer, but I have to go with Tuscola. I mean, I feel like they're better on both sides of the football. They're a more well-rounded football team than St. Teresa, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was the game they dropped this year. But I just still don't think they will.
I'm going to go with Tuscola as well. We're all going to pick the little one that's a little bit closer to home.
We got them.
Yeah, I think this one will be very close. I'm very intrigued about this game, just like I was last week, Tuscola against A&M. But I think this will be a very good game. I think it'll be very close. But like you said, I think Tuscola is just a little bit better, well-rounded out on both sides of the ball, and I think they've got better coaching. And I think that's what it'll come down to, is play calling and being able to manage your players.
That's going to be a fun game. I'm going to try to watch that on IHSA.com.
It's in Tuscola.
I might try to go.
Tonight?
Tonight's Friday.
Yeah. Well, geez. We might have something to do tonight.
Yeah, there
then.
we go. On Friday night. But, I don't know. Tuscola, this is going to be a good one.
Yep.
I'm going to leave it there. It's going to be a
Yeah.
good one. So,
All right.
we're pretty much uniform on everything this week like we normally are. We only had, I think it was week 2 where we were
Kind of hit
all
and
over the
miss.
place. Yeah.
This week, I think I have a couple picks against you guys. I know, Cale, you have
I went Central. You guys went Urbana.
Yeah.
I
and I usually side with Tyson on our games. We don't,
I took STM over Chillicothe IVC.
Gav took Seneca over PBL.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
other than that, we were pretty uniform.
we've got 3 games where we're off.
Yeah, this should be good. But let's go ahead and let's switch gears here. We need to talk about Illinois against USF at Soldier Field tomorrow. And I believe you said it was at 2:30 Central.
2:30 start time.
Yep. Everyone has USF winning this game by a pretty big margin.
Yeah,
but
Illini's win probability for this game, Gavin, before you continue, is 26.5%.
Yeah, which is
not bad against a ranked team.
Well, so here's the thing: is AKA not good.
Yes, not good, but it's not as bad as it could
let me
be.
say this: if there's one thing that Illinois can do better than this team, it's run the football, which sounds very surprising.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you look at these two starters for each team. You look at USF and Blake Barnett, 24 carries for 122 yards and 3 touchdowns. You compare that to Reggie Corman for the Illini, 25 carries, 142 yards, 3 touchdowns, almost identical. And for Illinois, this is a great sign for them, especially moving in the right direction, because they also have Epstein that can carry the ball, and he's been exceptional.
Over 100 yards last week.
He's been exceptional this year. The biggest question mark I have is AJ Bush. Doesn't have a passing touchdown, but also doesn't have an interception this season. So is he? Because we assume that he will be the starter. They said if he is healthy, he will start the game. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
But man, that's what it's going to come down to. You know.
So here's the thing. Ricky Smalling has to show up. Ricky Smalling's got to be here this week. He's our number one wide receiver, except for the guy who went down on that immaculate play. I think it was Sam Mays. Is that his name? Is who went down? I think that's his name.
I'll take your word for it.
His true freshman made an immaculate catch in the end zone, and he hurt his knee. I mean, you can't do much about that. But anyhow, no, Gavin, I agree with you. AJ Bush is going to be the starter. Lovie Smith said he's healthy on Tuesday. He's 100%. He's ready to go. AJ Bush, although I feel like MJ Rivers is the better quarterback of the two, and AJ Bush has more experience like Tyson. We talked about this Sunday a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to side with Tyson and Gavin. I'm going to say AJ Bush is the guy. But going off of that, as you said, Gav, Reggie Corbin's got to show up. Ricky Smalling's got to show up. Jake Hansen on defense has to show up. Bobby Roundtree, big number 97. Delshawn Phillips. Our defense just has to play better.
Which after week one, I'm glad you mentioned Jake Hansen, because week one he was the co-defensive player of the week.
Yep.
For the Big Ten. The following week it was the dude from Maryland, another linebacker, had like 16 tackles or something. But week two, I think against Western, he only had like 3 tackles.
Yeah.
0 for loss, no pass breakups. No, basically his only stat was the 3 tackles. And a couple of them were shared. He got a couple half tackles that added up to. So not a very good week 2, but he definitely needs to show up week 3.
I'm glad you guys mentioned him because not only is Blake Barnett the Bulls' leading rusher, he's also their quarterback. And we know how Illinois struggles with containing the quarterback. We saw it with R.J. Barrett against Kent State.
Yep.
Terrible job containing him. So the fact that Barnett is a mobile quarterback, they're going to have to be on top of it. They've already seen one this year. This is a guy that likes to move around in the pocket, and he's a big man, 6'5", 220.
That's a big quarterback.
So he's got five passing touchdowns in 2 games with only 1 interception. His leading receiver has close to 200 yards receiving already this year. So it's going to be difficult, but if they can shut him down, he can't get rid of the football to anyone else. I mean, that's going to be the key to this game, is if they can shut down Barnett, they're going to have a shot in this game. But it's like you said, it's going to come down to the defense.
Well, if you look at it, Woody Barrett from Kent State, he was a mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Woody Barrett, not R.J. Barrett. That's a completely different guy.
Woody Barrett from Kent State, he was everywhere and at all times.
He's what we wish AJ Bush was.
Yeah. If we could
that dude was moving around.
Woody Barrett's a good quarterback. What's he doing at Kent State?
No idea.
But anyway, if we had a hard time containing him, and like you said, this guy's probably 3 times the quarterback Woody Barrett is.
Yeah.
So, obviously, because they're ranked.
And he throws a lot better.
So, that being said, he's a mobile quarterback with a cannon. I don't know, man.
Our secondary is going to really need to step it up as well. Basically, the whole defense needs to play.
Yeah,
what secondary?
The whole defense needs to play about a tier better than they've been playing, at least, if we want to have a chance.
That guy, too, I can't remember his name. Everybody's is going to ridicule me for this. But
the senior that's out for the first half.
Mays. That's Mays.
Yeah.
For that targeting penalty, he's got to sit out the first half. We're only upperclassmen in the secondary.
I thought it was Williams.
Done for the first half. Hang on, let me look it up here. Stall for me.
Because Mays is the receiver.
Yeah,
with 90 yards receiving this year with 8 receptions. Real quick, I'm going to touch on the power rankings one more time, or win probability for this game. according to ESPN, and I'm not sure where you got your number, Cale, but this is as of 10 o'clock this morning. The Illinois they're giving Illinois a 34% chance to win this game. Which is a lot higher. They increased it by 8%, which is
at noon yesterday. It was 24.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if something changed, if it took them this long to update, but before the game tomorrow, it is at 34% win probability for the Illini, which is a lot more than we were getting. UCF only a 65.7% chance to win this game.
Delano Ware.
Oh, excuse me.
That's who it is. Delano Ware, the guy who's out for the first half.
Okay. Oh, bless you, man.
Thank you.
Is that I know we talked about that off air was the targeting call that we thought was
should have been reversed.
Pretty bad on the officials' part leaving that call.
They reviewed it. Air quotes reviewed. It said that it was still a call on the field confirmed still targeting. No, it was not targeting. It's a clean tackle.
All right. Well,
I don't know, man.
I'll tell you what. This like we've been talking about it. It's the make or break game for Illinois this year. What is your guys' prediction before the game tomorrow? 24 hours to go. What is your guys' prediction?
Illinois has averaged 32.5 points a game and let up 19 points a game. USF has averaged 41.5 points a game and let up 26 points a game. So their defense hasn't been as good, but I think they've played just slightly tougher competition than Illinois has so far this year. Yardage is pretty close. USF's been putting up 470 yards a game. We've been putting up 422. But their passing game is a lot better than ours. But our rushing game is a lot better than theirs. So I think this one, I think it's going to be closer than people think it's going to be. Illinois hasn't been very good going up against a ranked team. We saw how bad they beat us last year, all that good stuff and whatnot. But I think if the defense can step up and we can run down their throats like we've been running the last couple weeks, I don't see why there's any reason Illinois can't win this game. I don't think it's going to be a large win. I don't even know if it's going to be a win, but I think it'll be close, and I think Illinois' got a chance. But I'm still going to pick USF in this one, just to be safe, going against the ranked team, against an Illinois team that's been, traditionally bad the last couple years, starting 2-0 and then losing to a ranked team like USF last year and whatnot.
I'm going to ride or die with Illinois. I have to. So I can sit here and I can talk bad about them because I've been with Illinois and the fighting Illini through the good and the bad, other than the good was way before we were all born. But I'm going to ride Illinois. I have to. Hometown. My school.
Fair enough. I think I'm also going to take Illinois slightly in this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's going to come down to our kicker, and we have a really good one. If Illinois can keep it close and we need a 50-yard field goal, he's going to be the one to do it for us.
The special teams, I like
Chase McLaughlin.
Let's go ahead and let's go kick that game winner. That's what I'm predicting. Illinois by 3.
Well,
I like it.
He centered that 54-yarder in game 1, then he did a 52-yarder in game 2. So he's got a leg on him.
Yeah, he's got the leg for it for sure. I know that we're going to stick with Illinois here. Talking about basketball, Cale, I know this is something that you definitely wanted to talk about, so go ahead and lead us into the recruits for next year for this men's Illini basketball team.
All right, so we don't have any recruits yet, but I want to touch on some guys that are going to be here for official visits. Actually, today's the 14th, so we had one big name here on the 12th. His name is E.J. Liddell. We've talked about him already. We know what he's capable of. Illinois needs to land him. We don't have an option. We need somebody up there to help out Frazier and help out Io. And then we need somebody for 2019 to also help put this program where it needs to be, where it belongs. E.J. Liddell is capable of doing all of that. He can jump through the rafters. He can stick threes all day, all night. He can run the floor with the best of them. And the good news is, Tyson, is that he's narrowed them down to 3 schools. Those 3 schools are Mizzou, of course, because everybody that tries to commit to us also has to say they're going to try to go to Mizzou. And then Ohio State, that's a little concerning, but Ohio State's basketball program isn't what it was 6 years ago. And then, obviously, the Illini. So I think what's going to help us out is that, Gavin, with us being the last official visit he had and that he's going to take, that's going to help us out a lot.
Fresh in his memory.
Yeah, and realizing, okay, well, he met all the players. He met Io, he met Trent. You know, and he met Brad Underwood, our head coach. So I feel like the Underwood system has been sold to him. We've done everything we can do. We've made our pitch. He's met everybody. He's met our two best players in Trent and Io. So if them guys, hopefully they locked him down permanently. But the thing is Mizzou, you can't sleep on Mizzou because who knows what they had to offer him. And same with Ohio State. So I don't know. We just need to lock E.J. Liddell down bad.
Let me touch on this real quick. I think that his decision will be made when he sees that Illinois has a better record than Missouri.
He's still
this
got a
upcoming
long time.
year. So, especially like you said, I think if you just look at Io. If you take everyone out of the equation, why would you not want to play with this kid? You know, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a great point guard. He can shoot. He can drive.
Both from Chicago.
Exactly. So, and that's not the only thing that's relatable, of course. But you know, if you have a guy like that, it makes it that much easier to make your decision. I don't see why he would take Missouri over Illinois. Why he would want to go to Ohio State, I have no idea unless he's a closet Buckeyes fan. Yeah, there's no reason he shouldn't come here.
He's a closet something if he wants to go to Ohio State.
Whoa.
Shots fired.
But no, like you said, this is going to fall on Io. It's going to fall on Io for one reason. He's going to have a lot of pressure because he is the 4-star guard, Illinois Mr. Basketball.
Should have been 5.
Should have been 5. He got hosed. But he's the 4-star guard, Illinois Mr. Basketball. It's going to fall on him because EJ is also Illinois Mr. Basketball for 2019. It's going to fall on him for the sheer fact that he needs to perform. He needs to score. They need to see the Underwood system and how Io's falling in with that. Because EJ Liddell is bigger and he's a little stronger. And I don't know if he's necessarily faster than Io. He's just bigger and stronger. So I don't know. It's going to fall a lot on Io to see how he does this season.
Well, I think that's it. I think meeting and talking to all the players is going to be a big factor in it, especially when he sees what Fletch did to all of their bodies this offseason.
B.
Yeah, I was going to say Io's a big one, but I think Georgie B is another big one. Georgie B and Trent Frazier. Just being able to see how Trent Frazier's vertical transformed from not being able to touch the net to putting his arm through the rim. And Georgie B going from looking like a marshmallow to looking like Channing Tatum or something. I think that's a big part. Meeting these players, seeing what they can do, and seeing how the program can help him personally transform his body to take him to that next level as well. So I think that's a big part of it.
So going off of EJ, Terrence Shannon Jr., we talked about him. He committed to DePaul right out the gate.
Because he's up there from Chicago, too.
Another Chicago kid, yep. He committed to DePaul, wanted to stay home. Then he was like, wait a minute, I could probably get a lot better offers and potentially get in the NBA somewhere other than DePaul. No knock on DePaul. It's just that they're not a basketball school.
Right.
Although they have won titles. They have won a few NCAA titles.
They're just not very big.
No. But he decommitted to DePaul. He took an official visit with us. I do not know who else he took one with. I think it may have been Mizzou and Alabama, I believe, is where he went. Terrence Shannon Jr., another guy that can jump through the ceiling, can stick threes. It fits this system that Underwood's rolling with.
Athleticism and a lot of three-pointers.
Yes, exactly. So the fact that he can do everything that Underwood wants him to do, it's just can Underwood sell? That's all it is. It's can Underwood, Jamal Walker, can they sell what these kids should be buying?
Right.
But no, Terrence Shannon Jr., not near as big of a need as E.J. Liddell is, but he's still a need because we need some help on the wing position with Kipper being a senior. The thing is we are so guard heavy, it's not even funny. We have so many guards. We need some guys to fill that out.
The NCAA is becoming a guard-driven league, so this is a good problem to have. Although I agree, we should
got plenty.
Right, we should probably focus on bringing in another big man. There's nothing wrong with having 6 or 7 guards on the roster that can play.
Well, and you're right, it is becoming a guard-driven league, but when you see teams with 7-footers like Mo Wagner was with Michigan last year, you can see how they just dominate in those games that they play in.
Going off of that, talking about big 7-footers, he's not a 7-footer. He's 6'10", 6'11". They'll probably list him at 7 foot if we can land him. 5-star big, Oscar Tshiebwe, labeled best rebounder in this class of 2019. So that being said, we're talking about big men. There's somebody that can roam the paint, and not only that, he's a shot blocker and he's a rebounder. He can rebound, Gavin, on both sides of the court. Offensive and defensive, which offensive boards in the sport of basketball, I'm going to go old school on you here, offensive boards win you basketball games. So we need Oscar just for the fact that he can rebound.
Well, and when was the last time that we could rebound on the offensive side of the glass? When was the last time that we got those, that we could get those second chance points to give us a little bit extra boost to help us win some games?
Myers, Leonard, and Nana Egg were the only two that I can think of.
Exactly. We haven't had it in 5 years. So definitely need that. Need all the rebounds we can get, especially on the offensive side of the board, just to help our offense out, get them some second chance points.
Well, and I think this would be a great guy to bring in because of Kane that we have on the roster already.
Yep.
This would be a great pairing if we need to put Twin Towers on the floor. You just stick these two guys out there with 3 shooters, and we're looking good.
You got 3 shooters. You got shooters everywhere.
Right.
But as you know, as 6'10", you're probably not going to shoot threes. Mm-hmm. So we just need Oscar Tshiebwe just for the fact that he can rebound the ball and he can roam the paint, block shots, and take up some space. I want to touch on something real quick before we wrap this up. So I want to go through all the official visits Illinois has had since August 8th.
This year.
Of this year for the 2019 class. Official visit on August 8th was Drew Timm. We talked about him, Texas big man. If we could land him or Tshiebwe, another top 50 Drew Timm is, then we would be in business if we could get one of them. August 10th, Terrence Shannon Jr. took one. He was here on the 10th. August 15th, Jason Jitba took one. He's from Tennessee, another center. Not near as highly as rated. Jalen Hill, he took one. Another wing. We could use a wing. August 29th was when Tshiebwe was here. And then September 5th, Christian Braun, another good solid wing. And then obviously today on the 12th, it would have been E.J. Liddell.
All right, so there we go. Those visits are definitely going to add up, and the fact that we have this many recruits lined up, not official recruits yet, but guys that could potentially be turned into one. This is great news because we knew when Bruce Weber was here, recruiting was not his strong suit, and Brett Underwood is on top of it. At least as far as I can see. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can do in the future. Like Cale said, I'm hoping we can bring in at least a couple of these guys from this class. Boy, wouldn't that be great? Even just one, really. I mean, just one of these guys to show that Illinois can recruit.
If we can't lend E.J. Little or Tshiebwe or Tim, I would like to at least get Terrence Shannon Jr. from IMG in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's looking up. Hopefully, like Gavin said, we can turn in some of these visits into actual recruits. But just the sheer number we're getting, it's already looking up. But I'm over basketball. Let's go back to talking about football.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch gears here to the NFL. Something we didn't talk about on Sunday that we probably needed to was the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. Nathan Peterman was named the starting quarterback for Week 1.
I said that was a mistake from the second they said it.
Yes, it was. They lost 3-47. That's probably the worst home opener the Bills have had, if not ever, in a very long time. Nathan Peterman, I think he had 3 interceptions, correct?
That sounds about par for the course. I'm
and
surprised
then
it wasn't like 7.
Josh Allen came in the third quarter. He threw 15 passes, completed 6 of them for 74 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns.
But he got him their 3 points.
Yes, he did. He did score, something Nathan Peterman has still yet to do wearing a Bills uniform.
Yep.
Josh Allen's also been named the starter for Week 2. Tyson, are you surprised?
I am not surprised. I think he should have been the starter for Week 1 as well, at least over Nathan Peterman. I'm not surprised. A lot of teams don't like to switch gears like that after one game, after a half a game. A lot of teams will have a little bit more faith in the guy they deemed their starter. But you drafted this guy this high in the first round. You didn't start him Week 1. Your quarterback was awful. I don't see why they wouldn't start him. So I'm not surprised at all. I'm actually very glad that he's in. I think he gives Buffalo a lot better chance to win.
All right. With that said, the Ravens, after demolishing the Bills, just lost last night on Thursday Night Football to the Cincinnati Bengals, of all teams, a team that you and me both said that would not do very well this season. I think we both predicted them going 3-13, and now they're 2-0 on the season.
Catching that shocker for
that's a story for a different day, maybe Monday or next Friday.
Red Rifle.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, and AJ Green had a hell of a night. But we need to move on to another game that happened. It was the Monday night game against the New York Jets and the Detroit Lions. Matt Patricia has been catching a lot of flack ever since Monday. The Lions lost to New York at home 48-17 with a rookie quarterback in Sam Darnold going 16 of 21, passing for 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick six. Matt Stafford also one touchdown, 4 interceptions, 286 passing yards. Tyson, give me your thoughts on this game. What's going on in Detroit, and is Patricia in the right here? Is he in the wrong? What's going on with the Lions?
Well, to start on Patricia, I think he inherited an awful team. This is a team that we both predicted to go like 4-12,
yeah.
5-11, not very good, bottom of the NFC North. So I wasn't really expecting him to win a lot of games. I wish Matt Patricia's a phenomenal coach. He was a great defensive coordinator with New England. But like I said, he inherited an awful team. And it's very hard to turn our team around like that quickly and produce wins, even against the Jets, which I don't consider the Jets a very good team. But we saw how they absolutely just destroyed Detroit. Now, I don't think you can blame Matt Patricia for this. I think you can put a lot of it on Stafford throwing 4 picks. That's not ever good, especially for a guy making that kind of money that's been very good for this many years. I don't think you can completely solely blame him either. I think really the blame goes all the way around on this team. There wasn't one faction of the Lions that was good this last week. So really, I don't think you can blame anybody. You have to blame everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. One thing I do want to ask you, though, is you've been critical of one of my favorite guys in the league right now, in Sam Darnold. He looked pretty damn good Monday night, and I understand it was against the Lions, but for a rookie debut, you even have to admit that he looked pretty solid out there on the field.
I am not going to say it was good. I'm also not going to say it was bad. I think he had an above average rookie debut. His completion percentage was pretty good. It was 60-some percent, 70%.
Close to 70%.
First drive, first pass, he did throw a pick.
Yes, first pass ever threw a pick six.
But he didn't dwell on his sorrows.
Correct.
He came out and he threw 2 touchdown passes, almost for 200 yards.
And then he went on to just trounce the line.
But if you rewatch the tape a little bit, his first touchdown pass was incredibly bad. He got bailed out so hard by that receiver. He threw it straight to the defender, and he's lucky his receiver had stronger hands.
I still believe under pressure it was a decent enough throw to where the receiver could make a play on the ball. But that's me seeing it from a different angle. I think if he had a better offensive line, it would have made him look better. We know that the New York Jets have not had a good offensive line since, well, actually ever, not that I can remember.
Butt fumble?
Even with butt fumble, he didn't have a good offensive line. So I don't know. I see it as a week one as the youngest quarterback to ever start in an NFL game. I thought he looked great.
Well, and 2 things I've been critical of Sam Darnold is arm strength and decision making. And we saw it both on that play. He threw an ill-advised pass, and he threw it very well underthrown. Now, like I said, it was still a touchdown, still worked out. But I think things are going to go very poorly for him if he continues to make those kind of throws, those kind of decisions in the heat of a moment. Whether it was under pressure or not, you have to decide not to make that throw.
I'm just going to sit over here and grab
or to just way throw it.
Yeah. I tell you what, no, that's...
But other than that, his completion percentage was good. That was very good. 2-to-1 touchdown interception, good.
Better than Jay Cutler.
His yardage, under 200 yards for the game.
Well, 2
could
yards
definitely
under
be better.
200. 198.
Still, I'd like to see him throw for 250, closer to 300, especially in a game where they put up 48 points. So I think that's where I have problem giving Sam Darnold the credit for this game, is because he got defensive touchdowns, he got special teams touchdowns, he got a lot of help from all over the field. He had a 70-yard broken run for a touchdown.
When New York went up by 30, I think they just wanted to run the clock out because they knew the game was over in the middle of the third quarter. So I'm sure if it was closer, he could have gotten those yards.
Right. That's why I say I can't really fault him. I can't call it good or bad.
He essentially played 2.5 quarters. And I think if you throw 200 yards in 2.5 quarters, you're looking pretty good. He probably could have gotten 300 if the Lions wanted to show up and Stafford didn't throw 4 picks. That could have very well been Darnold after his first pick 6.
True.
That's all I'm trying to say. Go ahead.
Going off of that, watching the Lions, I did watch that entire game. The fact that Matt Stafford was getting annihilated the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his offensive, you talking about bad offensive lines, that's probably the worst offensive line ever in the history of offensive lines. He didn't have any time to throw. He couldn't run anywhere because he couldn't get out. He got the ball and he was already getting rushed. And that was it. That was all he could do.
Well, the Jets have always had a decent front four, and I think they still do, even with the departure of Wilkerson. Yeah, Muhammad Wilkerson, he's a stud, and with him gone, there was question marks on that front four. Could the Jets get pressure on the quarterback? I think they answered that question pretty well last night against Detroit. Not last night, on Monday night. But let me shift gears to another quarterback to wrap this up. Your own Dak Prescott, Tyson, for the Dallas Cowboys. They lost on Sunday afternoon, 16-8 against the Carolina Panthers. Their defense is no joke. They're stout. Their front seven is amazing. Luke Kuechly looked phenomenal. Their front four looked phenomenal. Shaq Thompson wreaking havoc on that Cowboys offensive line with a couple holes, obviously.
Right.
But Dak Prescott ultimately at the end of the game was 19 of 29 for 170 yards. What were your thoughts on the game? Zeke, 15 carries, 70 yards, 1 touchdown.
I'm going to be a little critical on Dak here. His passing wasn't bad, 19 for 29, 170 yards. The one thing I'm very happy about, our defense looked very good against an MVP caliber quarterback and a good offense with Christian McCaffrey and everything they've got going there. Only letting up 16 points. But the offense only putting up 8 points with Dak and Zeke and all the receivers they've got, Tavon Austin, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, all these guys, and the offensive line that we've got, I just don't understand how we can only put up 8 points. Now, Dak made some ill-advised throws as well. Didn't throw a pick, but there were 10, 15 throws where he did throw it or didn't throw it, where I believe he should have ran. He had 10 yards, 15 yards of open space in front of him and just held the ball or threw it incomplete. Almost all of his incompletions were throws that he rolled out of the pocket, ran up to the line of scrimmage, and then launched it out of bounds or something. I think that's poor decision-making on his part. I easily could have been a lot of first downs. I think we had like 1 first down in the first half or something like that. It was just not very good. But then again, I question a lot of this on Scott Linehan's play calling. Now, I know Jason Garrett came out and said that this wasn't an issue. He believes in Scott Linehan. I do too. I believe in him. But for week 1, I don't think you can defend that. His offense only putting up 8 points with one of the best offenses we've had in a long time. My other question for Scott Linehan is, you've got an MVP Offensive Player of the Year candidate in Zeke, and you hand him the ball 15 times, and 15 times he went for over 4 yards a carry. That's very good for an NFL running back to get 4 yards a carry. Anything over 4 yards a carry is outstanding.
It's bonus, yeah.
You saw he went for 69 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown. I don't understand how you can't hand him the ball 10 more times. Take some of that pressure off of Dak. That's the whole reason we wanted Zeke back, was to take the pressure off of Dak.
I think, and also real quick, I think it comes down to Carolina having that amazing front seven. They're down linemen, their linebackers, stout, and when Zeke can still get 4 yards a carry against probably a top 10 defense,
right?
Yeah, it's like you said, that he's got to get more touches.
I just don't understand it. And in games where Zeke has 20 touches and 100 yards, I think we are like 16-1.
Yeah, they've only lost 1 time.
So I don't understand why you don't get him more touches, why you don't get him more yardage, why you don't take some of that pressure off the offense and put it on Zeke. Let him go to work. That's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So I question the play calling a lot. I question the decision making a lot. It just baffles me. I don't really understand it. So putting up 8 points, that's the thing that surprises me the most. The defense being good, I knew that was going to happen. But the offense flat like that...
Yeah, holding a team to 16 points, especially for the Cowboys defense, who has holes on the secondary side, that's a great job. That's a phenomenal job. But when you can only put up 8 points on the scoreboard, I mean, it felt to me like we were watching a high school football game.
Yeah.
So
our oldest defensive back, this is like his 3rd year, I think. 4th year.
Well, and we've
got very young secondary.
I believe it's Jeff Heath.
Jeff Heath. He's 26, 27. It's like his 4th year in the league.
Undrafted out of some school
like
I
Sam
can't.
Houston State
Yeah,
or
something I can't remember.
Yeah.
But one more thing before we wrap it up here, I want to ask. They have their home opener, second game of the season, Sunday night on against the New York Giants.
Oh, thank God.
So, how big of a bounce back do you think that the Dallas will have in this game?
We need some confidence going up against New York's bad defense and their offense that I'm not going to get into today. I can't wait for this game. I hope we win by about 4 touchdowns just to get some of that confidence rolling again. Little back into Scott Linehan, a little confidence back into him, knowing what he's doing, calling plays and whatnot. Hopefully this will be a huge bounce back game. We can put up some points and stop some and defense keeps rolling.
No concerns at all that they were able to keep it within 1 score of the Jacksonville Jaguars last week?
I said it earlier this year. I don't think the Jaguars are all that. Cale might disagree.
That's fair enough.
Bortles.
That's fair enough. I just wanted to get your thoughts.
I don't think Jacksonville's all that.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. All right, well, with that said, we'll definitely be looking forward to the high school football games tonight. Illinois on Saturday, NFL on Sunday and Monday. Go Bears on Monday Night Football against the Seahawks.
Woo!
But with that said, yeah, that's all we have for you today. We hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you like what you heard, make sure you go ahead and leave us a rating, thumbs up, comment down there in the section below. Also, if you really liked what you heard, go ahead and consider hitting that red subscribe button down below and hit the bell icon to the right of that to turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat. Also, remember to follow us on our social media, on our Twitter page at sports_twin. With that said, my name was Gavin Campbell. That was Cale Fleming, Tyson Snyder. I said that backwards once again, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Based upon the view, you can't have too much trouble, so why can't we do it? Everybody's doing it. Let's start the fireworks, stand back and enjoy it. Oh, oh. Bomb